everybody, and welcome back to the NLC. I'm Hitbrain, joined by a smug man, as we are getting ready to go into our second game of this series. Jamada, Nativz kind of just drafted a really good comp there and played it to its win conditions very well. I think that's probably the best way to really sum up game number one.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could also talk about some of the aspects of, the early laning phase not going right for Fløng as well. I think, losing out in the 2v2 early game, top side, I mean, it's Sion on, right? It doesn't necessarily matter if Sion's giving over like loads of kills like in isolation, if he can just get things down the scale up and be a frontline. But yeah, they just weren't really able to get anything going for them. Errol wasn't really able to do anything on the side lane. It felt like he was never in a position where maybe he, Fløng could set him up in that regard. And again, team fighting with that composition was always going to be difficult if you weren't the first person on top of the objective straight away. And it just felt like Nativz either understood this or just by chance, by coincidence, were just always there. They were always pushing the lane, close to their objective, whether it was mid, whether it was a side lane, and they were just in the river, and it was always Fløng that had to go through the chokeholds to actually make it in and try and contest.
Well, we'll be getting through into Champ Select very soon, so we can kind of break down, what we expect to see kind of change, because I feel Nativz, they got a comp that worked really well there. And we worried that the Veigar would, Udyr would get shut down by the Veigar Cassiopeia combo. Kind of didn't. They made it work around it. The hostile takeover was just an unbelievable tool in that game. And I think really some of Clox's ultimates were, well, actually, no, not some. All of Clox's ultimates in the team fights were literally defining factors of why Nativz won that. I think if you're on the side of Fløng, you probably just don't want to let that Renata get through again. I'm not sure if they swap sides. Actually, Fløng are red side.
Yes,
so they have swapped sides.
Red side, yes. Fløng are red side now. So my expectation is that it gets banned away. I don't actually recall, though I'd have to double check the match history. I don't think I've actually seen Rombengi run the Renata once this split. So I'm not even sure if it's something that not Nativz, I beg your pardon, Fløng actually play. So yeah, seeing a ban go out to it, I wouldn't really be too surprised. I'm just double checking the match history, and yeah, I mean, not played it all split long. So yeah, it seems like this is either a pick that they haven't at the very least, pulled out on stage yet, or they're gonna have to ban it, because if they don't, maybe even R1, R2 it, expect Nativz will just take it early on. I don't think there's anything wrong with that on their end. And even many other champions, it feels like, again, we've seen Nativz have a tendency to even first pick the Renata. And if you're that comfortable to pick a champion like Renata that can be punished in the early laning stages, I think as Fløng, you just ban it away. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, obviously, it came out towards the end, so there is the chance that they got it. And I think one of the things you talk when you think about Fløng is they are a team that have, a fairly diverse champ pool. So the odds of them having this potentially in Rotabenge's back pocket is there.
Yes.
And we'll have to see exactly I'll have to keep our eye on if they're going to actually decide to go for it, or if they maybe stick to comfort. But I feel like you've lost that first game. If you're Fløng, maybe it's time to shake things up and just see what else you've got in the wheelhouse. Maybe put Guff back on a more traditional way to carry than the Veigar. I think that's also probably a pretty good pickup there.
Yeah, you could also look towards a traditional AD carry. I think there's loads of options to go from after a game one draft like that. I'm not saying it was particularly a bad draft or anything. I just think that Nativz responded to you too well. There's not much else to really say about it. So we'll see how far they divulge from this sort of Guff on the Veigar, Errol just going for the comfort Cassiopeia into more standard things, right? Things like the Victor, things like the Aphelios. You've even seen a lot of MF come out at Amazon Masters. So let's see what we actually end up getting out of Fløng.
I will also I'll also note that in the lobby before that game, Errol came in and was like, "Hi guys," and Sneely responded, "Hello Cassiopeia." So obviously very much aware of it. They were also, they were ready for that. That Xerath was specifically picked up as a counter for the matchup, and I feel like that basically means Nativz don't need to ban the Cassiopeia, because if a Cassiopeia gets picked up, they have an answer for it. So that's something you have to kind of keep in mind if you're now Fløng. You go, can we actually play as Cassiopeia? Because the Xerath is enabled. The Xerath is a champion that can handle that very well. But a champion that they're not going to even think about is giving Clox that Renata. It was way too impactful in the last game. And we've seen the Jinx get first rotation tier. It's interesting to see neither team really putting that much priority on the Zeri. Rather going for the Jinx as their AD carry. But we'll see what Fløng decide to do here if they decide to shake things up and put Guff back on an AD carry. or keep him on the mage in the bot lane. That is still an option to them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, there you go. Answers to our questions there immediately. It will just be the Xayah for Guffa, and I don't necessarily feel like Veigar had anything wrong with it. I just feel like it never really ended up working out in the later stages like they maybe wanted, and that's going to be paired up with Jarvan, which puts a lot of pressure for Bengi to probably go for someone like the Rakan in that R3 slot. I think it makes the most sense when you have the Jarvan there, you've got the Xayah there, the puzzle pieces just fit too perfectly. So will Nativz actually draft around this immediately? I feel like you could just go for Thresh if you're feeling the matchup in the bottom side, and then also, you know, flaying Jarvan out of the Flag and Dragon the earlier stage is going to provide a lot of value, and that safety net will be there. And then still for his jungle pick, plenty of options really into Jarvan, right? Even on this patch, I think this is the patch where Xin Zhao is still actually a champion, so they could even go for Xin Zhao. They could see things like the Lee Sin come up, still they could see things even like the Viego actually on the opposite side, or we get a little bit of Lilia, which is definitely a much different champion compared to what she is on live right now, where of course the buffs have come through. She heals a lot more, and I believe the sleep duration was also upped by half a second. I'm pretty sure that was the patch. So we will see this Lilia come out. Those buffs not quite alive yet, but still a very powerful skirmishing champion, especially at level 6. And it makes me curious as to what we will actually get out of the solo lanes here from Nativz, as Fløng, they're actually going to go for Ron Bengi's Blitzcrank, which you've seen a couple of times already. And actually, when it did come out, I'm pretty sure it was game winning all the way back in the regular season.
Yeah, it's obviously the thing about the Blitzcrank is you land that hook. It's, you know, even in late game, it's pretty much guaranteed to either take someone out of the fight or just straight up kill them. So it could be a potentially big pick, but obviously it has its obvious weaknesses. Although the Blitzcrank is typically picked up as a counter to the Thresh, as he has to stand still and wind up his hook. So obviously had this kind of ready in case this came through, but we are seeing Lundorf being denied his Ornn. It was honestly, you know, that plus clocks was just too powerful for Fløng in the last game. So I actually do like that ban. And I'm curious to see whether or not we do see Vangsted back on a carry. He'll have counter pick this time in his lane, so there is the option for that. And they can just give Errol a blind pick in the mid lane. You know, there's still things like the Orianna. There's obviously, you know, the Cassiopeia is still technically there. Obviously, we had to have that Xerath to kind of keep in mind. I wonder if Nativz just go for the GP again, because they did ban that as their second ban. They went Camille GP as their ban last time versus... Actually, no, it was the other way around, I think.
It was the other way around, yeah.
It was.
So,
Blue side top lane bans have been Cassiopeia GP 2 games in a row. Well,
yeah, I think Nativz are more likely to ban out a mid laner from Errol, and it's actually going to be the Orianna instead. So Cassio still left up, so they're still very happy to play into the Cassio regardless. But Cassio, I don't think would necessarily fit with the comp that Fløng have right now. But again, they don't really care about that too frequently. They will go for the Victor, however, and this does give Relay the opportunity to take a favorable matchup in that one. Actually, removing away the Lucian. Victor, a champion that's typically picked into Lucian, but of course, Lucian Lilia, a combination when the champion did come out, that was very popular, and of course, they don't really want to deal with it. It seems like Soundheart for a little while, maybe just teasing Vangsted, but of course, do need a frontline native, so something like the Scion could be pretty nice here, and they will slot in to that composition. And you imagine Relay would more likely go for an AD champion with Lilia in the jungle. Lilia does definitely prefer to be the solo AP, and something like Yone, man, would be pretty exciting. It's got a really good matchup into Victor, and of course the sleep also sets up for very easy fate sealed, and that's what we're going to get out of Lilia. Definitely a much spicier pick in the mid lane to what we're typically used to seeing out of him in terms of the assassins coming out, as Fløng have Vangsted's lock-in to go for her, and I think you definitely want to look to try and outscale on the side lane at the very least, because right now team fighting looks very, very scary. But even saying that, I mean, you've got the Jarvan and the Victor on your side, and they're just going to go for the Darius into the Scion matchup. We called it out in game 1 that it would likely be a possibility that it would show its face in that draft. It didn't show it then, but it will show it now. And I mean Darius into Scion. Scion's going to hate this lane, and I expect Fløng will likely try and play towards the top side as frequently as they can.
That is a... That is going to be a fun top lane to watch. It's going to be a fun mid lane to watch. Sorry, bot. As much as the Blitzcrank can be exciting,
we don't care anymore.
We don't care. You've been outscaled in fun. This is going to be a fun game to watch. I think the jungle is obviously going to have a lot of impact. I expect to see Shafty probably go topside a fair amount just to try and set Vangsted up on the Darius, because, you know, if the Darius gets a couple of kills in that lane, Lundorf is going to struggle very hard. So I actually would like to see Shafty play some attention towards the top side. Question from you though is, what do you think Nativ's game plan is here? What do they need to do now?
I mean, I think top side, they know in isolation it's going to be a bit of a disaster. In the 2v2, it's just a matchup that you can't really win out very frequently. I'm looking at, you know, this 2v2 in the mid jungle, right? Feeling, especially once you have the ultimate available from Lilia, it's a very powerful skirmishing tool, I think, as well. When you think about the ultimate from Yone as well, the assassination potential is pretty much Hunter Zero from sort of level 7, as long as you've got sort of like a Zero, maybe B-Grease. So probably looking at that sort of post 6, and even in the earlier stages, a very slippery 2v2 to play against if you can't find the chain CC. Like you say, I think, you know, top side for Fløng is definitely going to be a focus point. They could even really, you know, play towards the bottom side. They've got the Blitzcrank at the end of the day. But I think side lane to Fløng, mid and bot for Nativz are going to be the focus areas, because those are the areas where I feel like they went out on the skirmishing the most. It's just going to be, I'm looking towards Vangstead and I'm saying, you had a bit of a game one. I'm not going to say disaster, but you didn't really get to take over the side lane with that whole breaker Scion. You didn't really get too much done in terms of, you know, picking up much map pressure for your team. Are you going to be able to do that for Darius in the earlier stages, and then also maybe turn into a bit of a team fight there as well?
Also say the Baron kind of undid that top lane, because like he'd taken 2 towers top side and his tower 1 was still standing, and then he lost 2 towers off a single Baron push because Shafty, it was nearly didn't go down.
I suppose so. Yeah.
But you are correct. Either way, he didn't really get to take over the game with the whole Baker Scion. See if he can do it with the Darius. I'm curious to see what the build is going to be, because I haven't actually seen a Darius since we've seen like a resurgence of Hullbreaker since its launch.
I mean, I think with the fact that we have Conqueror and Flash, which normally you always see Darius's have Ghost as a summoner spell. Whether or not they have Teleport is another question. We might just end up getting a very sort of old school Darius build where it's a mythic, such as maybe like the Divine Thunderer, or just the Gore Drinker, flat out Stridebreaker as well. Any of those bruiser mythics into maybe Hullbreaker second, though Hullbreaker again, the stats so efficient, all the AD, the HP. Wouldn't be too surprised to see Vangstead just go for that rush immediately.
Had a bit of fun.
Yeah, I think they know the lane they're in for.
Yes, although Vangstead has not opted into Ghost, so at least there's that for Lundorf. Not just going to get ghosted on like level 3.
Level 3, you mean level 2 even?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yep, fun.
It does take a tower shot.
I mean, Vangstead took 2 tower shots for that.
Yeah, that was
Granted, this is Vangstead, so we know he probably doesn't care, but still the health trade, not as positive as it could have been.
No, not at all. Lundorf now level 2, so we'll be able to more effectively deal with the wave, but it's going to be a little while till this wave actually gets out from underneath the tower. Vangstead can have, like, just I'll run you down in the lane pressure.
That's true, and we'll want to definitely track what Vangstead actually does with all of the priority that he's going to have up here, if he doesn't really play for, you know, winning the 1v1 outright per se, though he's definitely getting the better end of the trades in the earlier stages, as expected in a Darius versus tank matchup on the bottom side.
I'm assuming he got hooked. He flashes and he goes down. Guff will find first blood.
Yeah, right before Snille is down here on the bottom side as well. Unfortunate timing. It does mean Snille now will have to catch this wave. Not sure if he'll be feeling more about it, and that's a big wave to lose for Joppa. Yeah, you're right. It's definitely going to be very painful for the Nativz AD carry, especially after a performance like game 1. And now this time around, it's the bottom side that's not going right for Nativz, and the top side.
He's got the ignite, the bleed, he's burning out, and that is Vangstead with the solo kill in the top side.
And it's near mirrored, all right, in game 1.
No, he's gonna do it!
In game 1, Fløng, they lose out the 2-2 on the bottom side. On the top side, they also lose their top laner. In game 2, it's Nativz that lose out in the 2v2 on the bottom side, and then their top laner. League of Legends can be a world of parallels sometimes, as Shafty looking for a creative gank path onto the bottom side. And remember, Joppa has no flash.
Oh, this could be absolutely diabolical. Yopper on the run. They're waiting for the flag. They're waiting for the drag. It's going to have to be good from Clocks to try and run the interrupt here. The Lantern comes out. They find him with the interrupt mid-flight. The hook goes wide and a fantastic play. And now they got another hook. Night is burning. Yopper might just find the kill. The heals are coming in. And he survives. Nativz getting away with murder there.
I mean, I think both sides, right? Like, Yopper there probably should die 9 times out of 10, but then Shafty, after the way that the gank is executed, should probably die as well. I think Ludov just got trapped inside the creeps, and he's going to have to lose his flash. Thanks to though, quite low, doesn't actually know where Snille is, though I think was seen on vision yet, as that wave went by. Snille is getting a lot of jungle camps for himself. And that second rotation, I want to say Krogs. And the chicken. It could have actually been first. We'll lose out on the big chicken. Didn't have smite. But still, a pretty big individual lead to get for himself. And now is also just going to pass straight down, you know, top to bot. He stands there menacingly. Oh, okay. There you go. No, no hook anymore. That was quite funny.
Bad robot. Do you remember?
It's a bad robot.
That was a bad film. Yeah.
What?
I don't. As much as it's memeable, it was
the DreamWorks film, right? The DreamWorks.
Yeah,
film
it wasn't good, man.
No. Stop.
I know. I refuse.
Stop.
They tried to make a funny
Blasphemy. Blasphemy. That film.
As meme content, it's amazing.
It's
like,
a hilarious film. It's supposed to be a comedy.
Hilarious. It's
supposed to be a child comedy film. What do you mean?
Hey, children's comedy can be good, and that is not a good excuse. Shrek was made for kids. That is hilarious. Almost got him.
Right. You know what? I reckon. Robots, producer, Mr. Reed. He's flaming robots. Do you remember robots, Reed? I love how I'm asking Reed, but I know stream.
I like that. We need Reed on stream at some point.
Okay. My call out here is we toss it to Twitch chat, all right? Because Twitch chat, I feel like on average should be roughly around the age where they were like, you know, young kids when robots came out. They were the target audience for the film. Was Robots a good film? Yes or no? I'll look at the Twitch chat in like 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes whenever the delay catches up with live.
Man, there was better kids comedies. Robots wasn't that good. I actually rewatched it recently because it was like on TV. I just remember being like, wow, this is a bad film. Anyway, Guff is oh, that's a free man sleep to go for a quick snooze here, but they can't actually find a little bit more damage. Jopper's gonna force the flash out. Clocks is actually going low, and this has gone horrendous for the side of Nativz. Shafty, if he finds the flag and drag, Jopper could go down.
This goes poorly because Snille is out of mana. He just cast the sleep. And after that, had nothing else in the tank except for all attacks from Lilia. Not too much really getting done there. That means that they were able to turn the fire around Fløng. I think that time getting away with murder, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
For getting 3-man step like that, that is a fight they should have lost whole-handedly. But Snille, no mana to cast any more spells.
Oh, Lundorf, I'm so scared for you.
Anytime we pen up here from the top side, you can tell. Thankstead always wants it. That's just...
If this was Ghost Darius, Lundorf would be dead right now.
Oh, yeah.
They just run him down. He's way too far up in the lane.
I wonder why he does have flash, actually. I feel like...
Respect, I guess, for potentially getting camped.
Like the rest of the map, also. I feel like playing team fights with no with a flash here definitely feels a little bit better.
Ah, yes. Yone. Very, very, very interactive to play in lane with. You spend the entire time crowd control. The trade patterns here for Victor, not particularly the most fun, because the issue is Yone, if the Yone player is experienced in the matchup, always snaps back before the gravity field comes in, so you always get the more often than not, you always get the positive trade. You know, have sustain free runes and such. I wish there's a way to either force Yone back early or to stop him from going back. Or
I mean, you can stop him from going back.
Can you? I thought he just pinged back no matter what.
No, you just CC him right at the correct time before he is supposed to.
Oh, really?
He stays in place until the CC is done, yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. But doesn't he ping back to... He always goes back to the clone at some point, right?
He will go back to the clone once the CC is finished, yeah.
Okay.
So you CC him right at the very end before he... Like, the maximum time that he's supposed to stay out of his soul is up.
Okay, interesting. Snilly getting jumped on. Oh, that was a good lantern. That's a hook onto the robot. Riley coming in, trying to find the knockup. It's going to come in, and that is a lovely little kill onto their Yone. Silly can feel quite comfortable as Vankstead's now proxy farming.
Yeah, Vankstead now proxying. I think he's had enough of the lane. He doesn't. He's bored, man. He wants some.
You're not going to get out from under your tower. I will go under your tower. That's why he's running flash to bait Lundor forwards. He has the Noxian Guillotine and max bleed stacks and interesting hitboxes.
Man, I love watching Vankstead play. It's just such a treat. Like, even if, you know, the coach in me sometimes, you know, I cringe at it, right? You know, he does very stupid things, but also the entertainment value that we get out of Vankstead games is always amazing. As like you said, that's why he's running flash. And actually gonna trade.
Oh, hold on.
To Vankstead.
Lundorf has the flash, but that was a big old heal.
Yeah, if I was Lundorf, I'm flashing on Vankstead's face right there just before the Decimate Smash comes out.
Yep.
But fortunately, a little less aggressive.
Rotterbenga getting sent back. Here comes Snilly this time. Not gonna get hit. He's missing out. He's bringing the pillow into the lane, but nobody's taking a snooze as Joppa finds the kill.
A little bit messy from Snilly there, like you said. No one's taking a snooze, but the gank still works out. This is what I was talking about. If he snaps back at the right time, you could actually see he was temporarily stunned in the air on the way back out. But if on Errol's end, we'll see if we get another look at the trade or a trade later on. If Relay sticks around too long and actually does get eaten up by that gravity field stun, even if the Soul Unbound times out, he's going to stay stunned until the duration of the stun, and then he'll snap back after. So
it's the fact they snap back is my problem. Like, there should be a way where you can outplay it instead of them just, other than going to where their shadow is and waiting.
Well, the outplay is that, or murder him whilst he's out of the soul.
Yes. The problem is most of the time you're airborne when that happens because it's Yone and he trades on his terms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Play around it.
Just be better.
Just to be better. Like we said, Victor as well doesn't particularly have the easiest of time. Can of course dissuade him with the gravity field.
Yeah, it's definitely a harder lane. Definitely.
Yeah. It's speaking of harder lanes.
Oh, I didn't stop the cannon from going down.
Nope.
It is a hard lane though. The level pit lead has already been picked up, and Rotterbenga actually waiting in the wings with that hook ready to go. Right, playing a lot of respect here, as he didn't have his full team, but here comes the bowling ball from downtown, only hits on. And they'll just save the plates for now, but the tower does stand.
Big chunk though, and it means if Fløng get the next Herald, they'll be able to take down that mid lane tower if that's what they want. And given how the early game has gone so far for Fløng, getting objectives might not be a big deal here, as Snilly has flash.
Oh, dodging out on the bottom ball. He's going to get the hook off. He's actually going to put him to sleep with the lilting lullaby. Featherstorm comes out into the hook, into the slam. Clocks finds the kill. No one's under tower. Really, really well played by Nativz, but also a pretty good response on the Featherstorm there from Guff.
Yeah, just to make sure that he doesn't get slept whilst he's on the floor. Otherwise, you imagine he will actually be the target. That gets picked off there. Now, Guffey won't actually miss out on too much. Obviously, having to burn the ultimate is going to feel bad. It's going to be a bit of a monster as things progress. He's been able to kind of free farm in the mid lane. Not too much pressure as they're looking to maybe just outright dive Lundorf.
Oh, that was actually a bit of a messy play. He knocked him, he pulled him out of the flag and drag. Lundorf has ultimate. Vankstead needs to be a little careful. Meanwhile, Ryan maybe looking for the solo kit here. Fate Seal goes word. He gets him stunned underneath the tower. That was the interaction you were talking about there, Jamada.
Yep.
Lovely.
That's what I mean. So it's, in the case of Victor, it's a bit of a difficult thing to get down, right? Because it's basically, does Yone press his keys fast enough? Things like that. There's not much you can do other than place the gravity field in the right place and pray. But in terms of team fighting, that's how you lock Yone down. If you can see on the timer that he is about to snap back out, try and CC him right before then. And try and get a chain going, because then you'll be able to pick him up.
Oh, that was very swish and very quick from Ra there, actually, to be able to survive that. Won't lose his tower yet, actually. He has teleport as well, so we'll be able to get back to lane, although Nativz waiting with that hook just in case. Lundorf has also made his way over. His lane's really painful, so he's kind of okay just to give it up. It looks like they're just going to give his tower up for the moment, although they've got a long teleport coming in. Not going to get run over yet. Looking for the knockup. Nativz is going to get hit, and here comes the rocket from downtown. They're lilting Lullaby on cooldown for the moment. Nativz under a lot of help, but here comes the backup. Here comes the rest of the team. Face Shield not available, but they are looking for Shafty. Shafty's going to flag and drag in. Get the Cataclysm off. He's healing. Going to be able to survive. The healing is there. Snilly shall survive.
Oh, Snilly so close to Scuffy. Oh!
Wonderful outplay.
Flash from Jopper, yeah, and now all of a sudden across the map it's Fløng that lose out on all these small exchanges. The only place they're really winning out is that Errol should be able to pick up this tower on the top side at little cost to himself. But I mean, mid lane, sure, Fløng they get them to the tower, but now Nativz are going to pick up the second dragon. They're going to get that early snowball going. Jopper just picked up a 1v1 kill, and he's going to get the tower and this wave. Things are just going into the pockets of the members that Nativz needed to go into. Errol getting picked on here on the top side. No one is actually going to be able to follow up on Lundorf's harass. So fortunately, nothing else is going to come from it. As we have the replay in the mid lane of Snilly living by the skin of his teeth, the width of a hair, you name it. Picks up Bengi with the Q. Shafty feels like he's going to die in the position he's in. Just decides to go for Shafty, or rather for Snilly, but you can see the Conqueror stacked up. Of course, the passive from the healing. Feather recall would have been big here, but Jopper just flashes over the side of it.
Actually, have a look at it from the start.
From the start, yeah. So it's Gaffey forced out by lethal tempo, plus those chompers makes the retreat path a little bit awkward. So Jopper was just winning out on this 1v1 anyway. And just able to flash to the side. Feather recall not able to shut down Jopper.
He was dead though, if he hadn't flashed. So that was a good flash there by Jopper.
Yeah.
The Eclipse, obviously a pretty cheap power spike here for Guff. Almost got that mirror mana finished up. Jopper closing in on the Phantom Dancer as well. There's a Shafty maybe looking for Lundorf. Lundorf has had a pretty uncomfortable game, I think is probably the best way to word it.
I wouldn't say uncomfortable, but what I would say is unfun. All right?
Yeah.
You pick Scion Blind, and you know Vangsted plays all of these weird champions like the Darius. You expect it. It comes out. Triforce is what the itemization choice is for Vangsted. And with that fade, you expect that'll be a second item. Hullbreaker. And Relay is going to match up into Darius now, which I actually think Relay wins with that shield boat.
Yeah, I think in lane it's pretty rough, but at this point it should be okay. Is the hook?
Yeah.
Not going to hit. Clocks though, he's going to get hooked himself. Snilly's coming in. They've actually brought the teleport in as well. Clocks has gone golden to buy some time. Going to get the flash out and throws the lantern down as well. Riftail actually secured by Snilly in the meanwhile. Somehow able to get away with that one as Snilly actually looking for Shafty. Just going to get a little bit of poke damage off.
Yeah, and with that Herald, mid lane, heraldable damage right now. Oh, Flash forced out by Errol, and that's a big deal because now Relay gonna have a lot of kill pressure if he's matching into this Victor for the next couple of minutes. No flash on Victor is huge at this point. Yone can just 100-0 him. If he finds a knock up into ultimate, that's all he really needs. As teleport's coming in. Overextended, yeah.
Vangsted actually chasing down as they got the flag, they got the drag. He's put the clone out, but that is not going to be enough. He is CC'd for days. Pings out to safety, and Guff will take him down. 2 quick kills picked up. They have got the Riftail to use in the mid lane, and Jopper going to be able to make pretty quick work of this tower. Fresh in the pocket as well to make sure he can get away. They may actually try and get 2 charges. It's going to be greedy to do so, though.
I think it's too much, yeah. If they went for 2 charges. Shafty will just shut that Herald down. Yeah, and I think the retreat path here for Nativz is going to be pretty big because they're going to be able to set vision as they leave. And that could be heavily beneficial for this dragon that spawns in 90 seconds time if Fløng don't clean out some of this vision. And Vangsted, with the Hullbreaker finished up, just beating away at this tower, and now I don't think really can beat him for the added resists of the item. And that's going to, you know, kind of prove a bit of a problem as the game progresses, because I don't think anyone's gonna be able to match Vangsted for a little while here. I think even the Yone might need sort of 3 items and maybe even an outplay, just because of how tanky Vangstead should be with things like the player still caps and all of the additional health. As he could just face check right into him.
Oh, the flash gets himself the cripple off for the moment. Right, trying to survive as long as possible, gets himself a cheeky knock up. Fate Sealed available as well, but yeah, you see it there. There was a lot of damage both sides, but that could have been risky.
I think maybe if the eye is good, Lindorf doesn't know he's on vision. So if he steps a little bit too far to the opposite side. I mean, doing his due diligence though, hugging the correct side of the wall, as Errol will make himself known. But again, it's Nativz in the river first at the moment. 20 seconds left. Minion waves coming out of base right now. Hook's gonna go wide, so that's pressure down for about 15 seconds. But look at Shafty. Shafty's on the flank. And Fløng there, pincering.
Frank says they're coming through. They go for free. Man Sleep coming in from the Lilia. That's going to be pretty big to start it off already. 1 for 1 has been traded out, but look at the health bars on the side of Fløng. They are evaporating. And Joppa is popping off. It's going to be a triple kill onto the Jinx. Guff's going to do his best. A quadra kill for Joppa.
Joppa pops off in that fight. He gets the initial excite, the passive proc, and after that, it's complete carnage for the side of Nativz. They take down Fløng one after another, and honestly, all of that comes off the back of Snille's fantastic ultimate. Sleeps so many members. There's just no response whilst everybody's asleep. Vangstead, yes, he's in the backline causing a bit of mayhem. Yes, he does actually take down Clocks, but after that, he's not able to get any more resets because he just gets one shot. Only basically walking health bar. With the plated steel caps and those Hullbreaker resists off because he's near his team. Great team fight from Nativz. And again, that comes off the back of just being at the objective first, despite the numbers disadvantage and the pincer. You can see Shafty pretty much straight down the middle of the flag and drag, doesn't find anybody. Ability already hit the Jarvan, flash forward, immediate sleep, and it is actually dodged out on entirely by Guffey, but you can see the Featherstorm doesn't connect because that Zhonya's is so great. Shafty's on the back line on top of Joppa, doesn't really achieve much, really helps one-shot him, and that's it. The excitement comes in from Jinx, and honestly, this very easily could have been a pentakill.
Yeah, it was so close to being a penta for Joppa. Absolutely amazing. Guff, solid response to actually get a kill in return, because Guff was going down no matter what there. But that is now almost 3 items on the Jinx, and that's kind of like the big spike, especially when that IE comes in as the 4th item as well. But 3 item Jinx is where you start to really panic on the side of Fløng. Joppa pretty much unchallenged all game. Vangstead is a nuisance, but he can't really do much versus the Jinx, where his whole team are going to make sure that Joppa isn't going to get in range of this Darius.
Exactly. If Vangstead isn't actually able to get in range,
hold on.
actually matters as a actually he's could just die.
He's got the guillotine. That is dunked down.
Yeah, bit of disrespect there from Lindorf, to be honest.
Yeah, it really is.
On the top side, they're burning through this Baron quite quickly. Jinx is already 3 items at 22 minutes.
Yeah, Jinx is super fed right now. Obviously, that quadra kill helping massively. Errol's coming in onto the flank. Right, again, a lot of damage off onto Rotted Bengay. The Baron is stolen by Shafty. He made the hero play happen. And now it's on to the side of Nativz to try and recuperate their losses. But already, they've lost one. Shafty will go down as the Cataclysm will hold Joppa in place. There is no lantern to get them closer. Right, trying to chase them to Errol, but Errol just dodging away with the fancy footwork. That will go down to Vangstead as well. Fløng just turned this game around.
Oh, it's an absolute disaster for Nativz off the back of heroics from Shafty. He steals the Baron. Somehow, Joppa even gets shut down in the top side. How does that even happen?
I'm assuming a hook.
It has to have been a hook. That's the only thing it could have been, surely. And not only do they lose the Baron, Nativz, they lose 2 towers on the bottom side. Vangstead just got, I don't know, like 1,500 gold in globals. That's absolutely absurd. He picks up the death stance. He's going to be so tanky. How the hell does Shafty manage to steal this? I mean, yes, no one's on the back of the pit defending, but it... Oh, man, it's just so close. I think, from the point of view of Stille, that Baron just barely goes below 900. Too scared to press the smite key in case he smites too early. Shafty, however, not afraid to pull the trigger, and he steals away the Baron.
Incredible there as Joppa, just gets hooked and bursted. This is what I mean about the place rank, is like it doesn't matter if you're behind. If you hook the right person, that was a lot of gold as well. He's worth shutdown. Didn't see exactly how much he was worth, but shutdown was just given over. Guff now has the grudge finished up, so getting a bit more slows on those feathers.
That's really obnoxious as well from the Zaya. Not only did you get poked out from a bit of an irritating range. It's not the longest in the world, but still, just to be slowed and then potentially even have that chained into more damage does feel very bad. As Vangstead up here on the top side, 3 items. Death Stance going to make him such a nuisance to try and actually kill. Though it's nearly in his back pocket. 2v1, I don't know if I quite back Vangstead in that one.
Well, he's playing the bait here for the moment. Is about to lose the knockup. Does get it. They're going to put him to sleep. Sloopy bye-bye time. Catches him with a Fate Seal. There's a lot of CC. The rocket will do the work as well. And Snilly gets the shutdown. That was a beautiful juggle of CC.
Yeah, that was really good. Sleep into knockup, into knockup. Not too much response available from Vangstead, even with the flash. But that is 2 key ultimates down with this dragon spawning. 3 actually, because they committed Yoppa's ultimate as well. And Fløng, they all have theirs.
Sleeps on a relatively short cooldown. Good block there from Lundorf to make sure his jungler doesn't get caught out. Lantern comes in from Clocks to make sure they're all safe. And Hook Flash comes out from Clocks. They're looking for Guff. Guff uses the Featherstorm Chopper. Uncaught for the moment. He's in the pit. Nativz in the middle of everyone as well. You can see Royal trying to chase for a little bit more. They finally find the kill. And Shafty, he's delivered to the Yone. Yoppa once again coming up huge. A double kill on the Jinx. And Shafty on the run. The Yone will chase him down. The knockup's available. The chase available, and Shafty can only run so far before he is caught up onto.
Rest of the team
are going to collapse, and Ryder just making sure they have eyes on this Jarvan. The rocket from Joppa is the saddest thing.
Abe's true, picks up the kill for himself, and a moment nearly where you think Fløng, even after losing Vangstead, still had all of their ultimates available, just too disjointed. Shafty dives in, but where's the follow-up damage? It's just not there. Errol, Guff, even Bengi, they're just being zoned away by all of these tools. And again, Nativz, he spoke about their ability to read how to teamfight is just so strong. Yes, you can definitely pick on, in this particular instance, a bit of a misplay, right? A little bit too disjointed from the side of Fløng, but I mean, you've got Yone coming in from a bit of a flank angle. You've got, you know, separation here, and Clocks just says, I mean, Guffey is just overreaching here. Flash doesn't react in time to the death sentence, even tries to get the flay in to interrupt a potential flash. Does just barely go wide, and you can see Relay just comes in from the bottom half of the screen. Shafty too disjointed again, separated too far, too deep. And that knock up allows Joppa to get excited, and the extended chase down eventually does result in the rocket from Joppa from over here. I thought he was a little bit further away. But boom.
Absolutely wonderful. That was a really good Lantern as well, actually. It repositioned Joppa out of the Cataclysm and into the fight. As Vangstead now being chased down. This could be that duo once again, but they are finding the big knockup. Right, dodging out for the moment, waiting for the Lilting Lullaby Fate Seal combination. The rocket's coming in! And Vangstead is just getting bullied right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's just too much mobility for Darius to deal with. Even with all of that additional armor, it's why it took so long. The extra Warden's Mill, you can see definitely paying off. But again, the CC juggle is there. 2 almost, 3 almost committed, and now they're even going to find Ron Bengi in the mid lane. Does have flash, but I mean, dead to rights. Stinley's going to lose a little bit of his health, but it's going to be regened up by the Ocean Soul, Jake.
Yeah, but they're actually charging onto Guffey, who has to use the Featherstorm to survive.
No flash.
He's going to try and pull the feathers back, but he can't find the opportunity to do so. Shafty looking for an opportunity to jump forward. I mean, those feathers were just a little bit too threatening. As rival should be well, Yone will be able to take this tower. I can speak, I promise. I just tripped over my tongue. What can I say?
Huh.
Yeah. Never done that. Actually, did we get any input on the robot situation?
You know, only one person did in chat.
That's because it was a bad movie and no one watched.
It wasn't a bad... I'm gonna hurt you.
Yeah, see, our producer never watched it. He just said in our ears. It's not good though.
I'm just...
You're filled with nostalgia.
I'm not. It's not nostalgia. I'm taking it to 12. It's like the it's like the bear gorilla thing that I brought up months and months ago.
Oh, wow. I forgot about that one. Yeah.
Because these uneducated buffoons still somehow... I get it, right? You know, primate cousins and all that. We want the gorilla to win. It's natural.
It depends on the bear.
But we're talking about an American grizzly bear. That was like, we're talking about a silverback gorilla, and we're talking about an American grizzly bear. And even then, I don't even think the matchup necessarily matters outside of like the super docile like bears, right? Like talking about the apex predator versions of the bears.
A panda bear loses to a gorilla.
All right, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like the docile bears, maybe a little less, but we're talking about the predator bears, right? Yeah, polar bears. Oh god, a polar bear.
No, a polar bear absolutely wins any day. But a polar bear beats everyone.
Yeah. I'm trying. An elephant? Could it be an elephant? I feel like elephants are a little bit too big, right? Wouldn't an elephant be able to defend itself?
Depends on the size of the elephant. Baron's going on, by the way.
Yeah, it's dead.
It is dead, and the hook's gone wide. And this time, not going to get stolen away by Shafty, but they are charging in. Going to get the interrupt. The rocket is close. It's not close enough. The Featherstorm comes out. Gravity Field as well, and one person's going for a snooze. They're looking for the knockups. Here comes the Fate Seals. Two members, an absolutely glorious flank. And he's pinned out to safety. Baron on the cards. The flash over the wall. And Joppa is unleashed. A triple. Or a double. But it looked like a triple.
It looked like triple. I think he got the first kill. Anyway, Nativz. It looked a little bit shaky in the mid game there. I think that Baron flip really put things on a knife edge.
Really did.
But eventually they are going to close out. And Jake, they're taking Fløng to match point.
They are taking them to match point. Dominating late game. Like a gorilla fighting a panda bear. Nativz win game number 2. What can I say? What can I say, mate? It was, yeah, you were correct though. Fløng, I think this game looked way more convincing. The Darius obviously caused Lundorf a lot of problems, and then by and large kind of caused the whole team problems, because that dragon where they had to use 3 ultimates to take out Vangstead, just to kind of like alleviate the bleeding from the Darius in that top lane. But honestly, Ryle had an amazing game on the Yone, some incredible flanks, some really, really impactful ultimates. Snilly as well. I mean, Snilly's been very, very impressive this entire series. I think that's completely fair to say. Really, really big sleeps, and Joppa as well, just kind of set up for success. Another really, really impressive game there from Nativz. We still have more games to go, though. It is a best of 5. There could be the room for that Silver Scrapes, baby. Find out if that's going to be the case after this break. We'll see you in a moment.